unknown, and so you have to be conservative, assume it's bigger. And so as a project manager, it's frustrating. You're caught in the middle between the business sponsor, who wants something as soon as possible, and they want to know the dates and they want to know the promise, versus the development team is, up until now, before phase change, it's an art. It's a guess. And we even call them WAGs and guesstimates. When I ask a development team, how long do you think it'll take to do this? My business sponsor needs to know. And you're trying to collect that for every feature estimates, and then they add up, and you're like doing your own factor on their estimating, saying, I know this guy's always a little low, or this person's always a little high, and you're putting them all together, trying to orchestrate all the different features, and then communicate something to your client that you think is achievable by your development team. But as a project manager, you don't like to be in that position, and having more accurate information from your analysts, your developers, and your QA folks, obviously then you'd be more confident in what you're sharing with your business sponsor, and that you might be able to turn something around. Would be then, I feel confident that we can turn it around here. And then you could allow some space for bugs, but the bugs would go down as well.
As an engineer, going along with that, one of the biggest dissatisfiers in the job is having to make these swag estimates, because you say, look, I'm just trying to help you. Here's what I think. I haven't looked at it. I really don't know. It goes up, and it's going to come back with somebody's going to make a promise, down the line, and it comes back, and now you've got to either work a whole bunch of overtime because there are implications you didn't think about, or you're going to have to take some shortcuts, and you're proud of your engineering, the purity of your engineering effort, but you have to corrupt it to get it done. Okay, well, let's just hack that in. So big dissatisfier for the engineering team, and that there's this term technical debt, which basically means doing something technically that you wouldn't really like to do, but you need to do it because you need it for some other reason. So you incur the debt to make the promise, right? Yeah. The long-term cost of this with large teams over a long period of time is that system becomes old, sluggish, and we have to replace it. And that is never factored in when somebody says, well, we need a new system. How did it get old? How did it get old?
Why? Yeah, why
this is how it gets old.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think you're right. We would, with phase change, in sort of what we call sort of scale-free software engineering, we can enable code to stay fresh, if you will, and last a heck of a lot longer than it does currently today, obviously.
Right.
So,
eliminate a lot of the band-aids that are done for time reasons, and then which causes your system to start to be fragile, and then some of those things are done to help meet the requirement at the time, but then it can plant a little ticking time bomb for interfering with other new features that have to be implemented on top of that because it's not designed well or implemented nicely for extensibility.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, and the budgets, the budget for the project and the budget for the replacement are two different things. So you incur the technical debt here, but then you pay it off in these large, for 2017, we need to add $200 million to the budget to replace the insurance system, right?
Things that we did in the past.
Those never get.
That's right. Rationalized.
Right. That connection never gets recognized, but that's what's happening.